Hey guys, and welcome to a battle today between the forces of the Greenskins, led by a move hacker, up against the Dowie and Yumi's himself. Going to be a super fun game overall, with some really interesting tactics used by both players. So we're going to delve into this battle on Bleak Dale and have a quick look at both the builds. So as you can see from up here in the top right on the minimap, the forces of the Greenskins are incredibly spread out along the entire course of the map, which can be fantastic for two reasons. One, if you need to pressure the dwarf box, you want to get a nice full surround, hunt down their siege engines and break into that back line. But also, as in this case where the Dowie do not have any long range artillery, you can force them to hunt you down across the entirety of the map whilst you do consistent damage the entire time. Now, there's no particular front line here for the Greenskins, but we do have a lot of units dotted around, a ton of Night Goblin fanatics. Now this is going to be a micro intensive build to say the least. So 8 Pigaloonies are leading the front line here, with a couple more fanatics as well, and those guys of course have to be manually activated but can do some fantastic damage overall. We have some nasty skulkers skulking in the tree line here, as well as the ROR Goblin Wolf Archers, Morgrub's mangy marauders, which do decent armor piercing damage overall. So it looks like in the secondary line we have a couple of Snotlin pump wagons. These guys are going to be pushing forwards just to try and assist these Night Goblins and slow down the Dowie advance as much as possible. And then we have archers at the very back, and it looks like for the majority we do have Orc Araboys who can fight okay in combat as well if they do get a tiny bit shut down. Up on the high ground here we do have a Goblin Rock Lobber, as well as down here past the swamps as well. So spreading out your Goblin Lobbers and artillery pieces in general like this, if you have the troops to protect them, can get some super fantastic value, especially up against the Dwarfs. We're going to have to slowly march up to this hill, take one out before slowly marching down again, which is a bit of a nightmare. We have a Night Goblin Shaman here coming in with Itchy Nuisance and Sneaky Stabbings, as well as the Madcap Mushroom, so just a cheap and cheerful wizard overall. And it looks like all the way over in more Vanguard, looks like we have more Snotlins and Night Goblins on this flank, as well as more Fanatics and nasty Skulkers in a massively deep reserve here. They're going to have a long track to actually get involved in the battle. So super fun build overall. Up in the trees we do have some Night Goblin Squig Hoppers as well to support, waiting in the wings to help jump down and protect the Goblin Rock Lobber where possible. And we also have Grom the Paunch. He is the sneaky gobbo here who has been devising this lovely little snack in his mouth here, but also this horrible plan to try and lure the Dowie into. He's bringing Lucky Banner. Looks like that is going to be it. Of course he does have regeneration, which does make him slightly more weak to fire. Now, for the forces of the Dowie here, we've got a much more typical build. However, still needs a one or two kind of odd picks as well, which we'll delve into. So for the front line, he has Dwarf Wards with great weapons. These guys will be able to clear up most Orcs and Goblins for the majority, but as well it can go okay toe-to-toe with Black Orcs simply due to those great weapons. In the front line, we have the Warriors of Dragonfire Pass, who look so fantastic in this red and gold colour scheme, one of my favourites here with their flaming axes. And then in the secondary line, here's some Miners with Blasting Charges, which can do fantastic work against Goblins, of course, mixed in as well with Quarrelers. So really designed here to kind of take out mass units of chaff in this second line. Ekron Miners in particular have a ton of Blasting Charges and can do some fantastic damage. Here's some Thunderers as well to help take down Black Orcs and bigger, nastier threats. So 2 units of those, as well as the Ulfar Raiders. Regiment-renowned Rangers have a really nice ability, which we'll delve into just down here. So here these guys go. And it is marked by Ulfar, minus 30 armor, 22% missile resistance, and minus 24 parry, which is very powerful. Allows Quarrelers as well to trade much more effectively against armored targets. And leading the force today, we have Belagar Ironhammer, the beast himself, coming in completely naked, which is normally the best way to take him. His items are pretty damn cool, but they're very overpriced for what they do. And in the back line, he has Quad Slayers. Now, Slayers is one of those units where back in the day you'd only ever take 1 or 2 of these bad boys, but more and more I am seeing Slayers brought in mass, and they can do some fantastic work. They will tear down most Greenskin infantry, although maybe not cost effective, but they'll also be able to take down giants, trolls, and all those nasty business. And with the new stone trolls, I can certainly see them being taken quite a lot up against the forces of the Dowie here. As we can see, in come the Goblin Rock Lobber shots, aiming at these Thunderers here, doing some pretty decent damage off the bat. 1 or 2 shots going wide as well, of course. Greenskin artillery, not the most accurate of fellows here. Now the front line, the 8 Pigaloonies are going to charge in towards the Warriors of Dragonfire Pass. Instead, they're going to release some Fanatics and then absolutely leg it away. Really nice cast here, coming down the line, as well as the 2-for-1 combo. Snotlin Pump Wagons do come in to punish these Dwarf Warriors. Lost just over a third health here, which is some really nice value straight out of the gate, with no real losses in return. It looks like a marked by Ulfar did go down on this one Snotlin Pump Wagon, but it's going to be able to escape for the most part relatively unharmed. Morgrub's mangy Marauders are just doing a little bit of poke damage here, but nothing too crazy. Looks like the Thunderers are slowly being taken offline here, as the Orc Arrow Boys do start to move up into position. Now, the one worry here for the forces of the Greenskins is they don't really have much stopping power. Goblins will be run over, and these Orc Arrow Boys will then be left open and vulnerable, as well as these Goblin Rocklobbers. Getting some decent shots up the hill though. Grom just having a quick little look, does pop the lucky banner and decides to go rolling in just for a good laugh. I love the way his little dwarves kind of shuffle their feet along and start tearing into this back line, getting some fantastic value straight out of the gate here as Belaga does advance. Now, one of the Snarling Pump Wagons has been isolated here and surrounded by Dwarf Warriors, as well as the Warriors Dragonfire pass, and these guys are going down super quick, and they do break, unfortunately, just as an itchy nuisance does kind of go off and get a little bit wasted here. So it looks like the Night Goblins are flanking around from the left. We do have a couple of units still in the trees trying to catch back up, which is one of the worries of spreading out. If you are trying to get, your force there quickly in time, can be trouble. And some Slayers have popped into the back line, hunting down these Orc Arrow Boys. But they're getting cycle charged by Snotling Pump Wagons as well, so they're not going to be having the greatest of days here. And a nice line here as well, relatively undefended for the most part, apart from some Snotling Pump Wagons. But at the same time, the Dwarfs will have to force themselves wide if they do want to take these guys out, which really opens up the play of Grom being aggressive. Up to 26 kills. We have Snotling Pump Wagons in the back line as well, doing some decent job, but they are getting focused down now by Thunderers up in the high ground. Looks like this Goblin Rocklobber did get a little bit compromised here, but they are going to simply be falling back, of course, having much more pace than the Dwarf Warriors and dragging them away from the main engagement. Now, Night Goblin Squig Hoppers have ride on the edge here. Looks like Nasty Skulkers will as well. They took quite a beating coming in by the Miners here, as we see some more Fanatics coming down as well. But the micro by both players here is insane. The battle still envelops the majority of the map, which is quite hilarious here. More Night Goblin Fanatics are pushing up as the first wave do get beat back relatively successful, and the Dwarfs are slowly starting to come into the driver's seat. He has a bit of a missed micro with his Night Goblin Shaman. He does get caught up by Belaga and absolutely hammered, like all goblins should be, by Belaga doing some decent work. But he's going to be a sneaky little git, run away and come back, no doubt. So over up on the high ground here, Grom is just having a whale of a time going through all these miners. There's not too much they can do to him. With his regeneration, he's basically going to be taking no damage up against these guys. And with some big old swings of that hefty axe, he's going to be breaking at the Ekron miners here. And it looks like, though, some Dwarf Warriors with weapons are slowly pushing into the back line. But really nice micro here by A-Move, pulling back his Orc Arrow Boys past the protection of the 8-peak Loonies, who, of course, are unbreakable, will be able to hold the line for a long time. These guys can turn around and once again unleash their arrows. Looks like Dwarf Warriors still chasing those Goblin Rocklobber crew. It's going to keep them offline, but they're not going to be able to catch them, unfortunately. Squigs do come back and hop onto this gun line now, doing some pretty decent work in the trees, munching down on top of these Dwarf Warriors with great success. So if we slow down the battle a little bit and have a quick overview, it looks like the war just has been popped, but a lot of the Greenskin forces are quite heavily damaged here in a bit of disarray. We have Snotling Pump Wagons running for the hills, but at the same time, Thunderers and all of our Raiders did get pushed offline, and the Night Goblin Squig Hoppers having a whale of a time currently on top of Thunderers. Grom single-handedly holding back a large tide of the Dowie forces, up to 76 kills, doing some pretty impressive work, and 8 Loonies as well are relatively happy. Belaga the Iron Hammer, though, has pushed into the Orc Arrow line, and there's not too many Greenskins left to defend this flank, so it's going to be up to the Dwarves here to really take the initiative and keep up the pressure. They've done good work so far. Slayers are chasing down at Snotling Pump Wagons, but they've got so much more speed, they're just simply going to be able to hide in these trees, loop around, and lead these Slayers on a merry chase away from the main battlefield. And down here, it looks like those late Nasty Skulkers have managed to pop on top of some mines of blasting charges. The blasting charges, of course, were used prior in the game, so these Nasty Skulkers will easily be able to shank these poor miners down. In the back line now, Grom the Paunch has managed to overrun the Dowie position, and the fact that Dowie had to stretch so thin to try and shut down so many different clumps of archers, rocklobbers and so forth, there's nothing left to protect this back line, and Grom is simply going to be able to clear up all of this nice juicy ranged gun line. Looks like the Morgrub's mangy Marauders are going to be marauding through the back line here, trying to hop on top of the Thunderers and break them off the field, which is a really good play. All of our Raiders are retreating as well, but these Wolves are incredibly fast, coming in here and just thundering down on top of these Dwarves, laying them flat on their backs and shattering off those units, so some really great value overall. Looks like the Dwarfs are trying to rally in the centre pocket, Quarrels unleashing shot after shot into the Nasty Skulkers. Of course, Skulkers relatively low armour and so forth, but Grom is a happy boy at the moment. Mark of Ulfar has been popped on him, but there's not enough range damage left to kind of put real pressure on him. Up to 106 kills, just rolling through all these Slayers now. Now in the back line, once again, the nice kind of pulling apart of the Dwarf build as Orc Araboys do start to flee for the hills. Warriors of Dragonfire Pass can't quite catch them, so it looks like they may turn around and try and finish off the 8-peak loonies who are down to just 14 models here. And up in the high ground, it looks like Nasty Skulkers have rallied, and some Dwarf Warriors just hanging around for the most part. Goblin Rock Globber crew has survived, and the Hammer of Gork has been online the entire game, but only 9 kills. Perhaps it's been doing a lot of HP damage, but certainly not racking up the kill count too much. And now it is the Goblins who are a little bit overextended. You can see Nasty Skulkers and Night Goblin Fanatics being isolated on their own and slowly picked apart here by some good diligent Dowie play. Grom the Paunch as well, starting to get a little beat up, and his morale is dropping quite quickly. He certainly needs to fall out of here. He does not want to be drawing Slayers at all, especially 46 of them with Thunderer Overwatch support, but luckily a move, great micro as always, does realise the situation and pulls out on top of these Thunderers as a big old rock lands on these guys as well. Slayers need to keep up pressure on Grom and try and drag him down here, but it looks like slowly a lot of the Greenskin forces are starting to rally and come back into the fray. The Dowie trying to make more of a last stand in the centre pocket. They expanded out and now they're trying to get nice and tight and compact again and try and endure the Greenskin onslaught. Snotlin Pump Wagons, which are the Flappers this time, which have a bit of increased speed, do come in here, but it looks like they get instantly shattered by just a couple of Slayers there, and get forced off the field. Nasty Skulkers as well, trying to fall back out of Quarreler range. Quarreler's doing some really decent work so far this entire battle. Night Goblin Fanatics have been pinned in the back line by some Miners of Blasting Chargers, and in comes Belegar. He's going to have a whale of a time, just launching in there with a big old flying kick, raising his shield and shouting many an oath and grudges. Night Goblins instantly start to waver by his mere presence. Morgrove Mangy Marauders trying to pop into this back line just to shut down troops where possible, but nice crossfire coming in by the Dwarfs. Slayers, however, are occupied trying to chase off Grom, and he's a pesky foe indeed for the Dowie. Regeneration, so he has that great durability, and Dowie have always struggled up against chariots. Orc Araboys doing some decent damage as well, just taking down the Dwarf Warriors, as that sneaky Night Goblin Shaman is running for the hills. 2 Slayers trying to chase him down here, and he doesn't even want to duel them, to be honest. He may be a hero, but these are Slayers. They are heroes of the people indeed. Balance power has gone relatively heavy in favour of the Dwarfs here. They do currently slightly outnumber the Greenskins there, which is never a good thing if you are a Greenskin up against the Dwarfs, but a lot of their troops are kind of range and slowly running out of ammunition. Belegar is incredibly healthy, however, he's going to be a big problem, and there are still quite a few Slayers kicking around. Orc Araboys now up on top of this high bridge, getting some nice damage down on the Warriors Dragonfire Pass. And it looks like the Goblin Rock Globber crew, after leading a merry chase for a long time, are going to be able to get back on top of their siege engines here. So it looks like battle is slowly coming down to these 2 pockets of strength, as the Dowie do start to regroup here, as well as the Greenskins in this pocket. There's some over-isolated Dwarf Warriors here, once again trying to chase down the Hammer of Gork, which is some nice play, but all of these Greenskins can come over here and start to thump these guys down. And it looks like Grom has just been an absolute menace, but once again has been surrounded by Slayers. This unit is the main problem currently for the Greenskins. There's nothing to stop Grom from cycle charging all of these units to death, basically, apart from the Slayers. So he certainly needs to get his archers on top of these guys, pull down those naked dwarfs, and that'll allow Grom simply to roam happy and free. Although it looks like he's having a pretty good whale of a time as it is. Look how many dwarfs he has just trampled on. Getting some fantastic work. Up to 189 kills is very impressive stuff overall. More Orc Arrow Fire is coming down on top of the Quarrelers, and even though the balance of power is relatively in favour of the Dwarfs, I feel that's because Belegar is so healthy, whereas Grom is still currently regenerating. Dwarf Warriors doing a good job in the back line though, hunting down these Orc Arrow Boys, so Grom certainly wants to come over here and shut these guys down. Looks like Morgoth's Mangy Marauders are going to be chasing down Quarrelers and Thunderers, chasing them off the field, which is some fantastic value overall. Orc Araboys are going to be fleeing as well, as the Goblin Rock Club are up to 34 kills, which isn't too crazy to be honest, but still is that good consistent damage. And it looks like we do have an itchy nuisance pop down as Grom once again roams into line as a huge rock comes in, adding to its tally there on the Warriors of Dragonfire Pass. Archer Fire is now raining in from the trees, no doubt going to be targeting down those 29 Slayers. Lucky Banner has been popped for Grom as well, and he's regenerating this entire time, so the longer the game goes on, the more and more Greenskin favoured it is going to get. Hammer of Gork have popped back on top of their artillery piece here, but nice work so far. Dwarf Warriors and Slayers hunting down these Orc Araboys very effectively. Looks like Morgoth Mangy Marauders are going to be coming for some nice cycle charging on these isolated Dwarf Warriors and Warriors of Dragonfire Pass. Grom, sneaky stabbing has been popped on him. Lucky banner as well. He's going to be decimating these ground troops here for the forces of the Dwarfs. Up in the forest, it looks like Orc Boys have been caught out by some Slayers here. Slayers are slowly going to drag these guys down. Itchy News has popped on them, but slightly too late, unfortunately, as the Orc Boys have already started to rout. But a lot of the Dowie forces have completely gone at this point. Quarrel is desperately trying to rally, but once again, Warhammer's Mangy Marauders are going to hunt them down. There's a full health unit of Slayers over here, as well as some Dwarf Warriors, and they're going to be pretty key to this battle overall. Orc Boys doing that nice fire though on the perfect target, the Slayers. It looks like we're going to have a bit of a skirmish off here, so we are going to just fast forward a little bit. Orc Boys constantly chasing Slayers, but it looks like unfortunately the Greenskins do fall to defeat there. Not sure if that was an army losses kicking in or a move going for the surrender there, but super close game overall, fantastic. And Grom up to 261 kills, very impressive. Perhaps if he could have keep regenerating, he could have come in here, but Bellegarde does hit pretty hard, and Slayers as well. There's still 2 healthy units left, but very close game, so massive shout out to both these players. A move Hacker in charge of the Greenskins, and Yumi's in charge of the Dowie. I apologise for if I'm mispronouncing his name, by the way. He's played a couple times on the channel, fantastic dwarf player and player overall, but I've never learned to say his name properly, unfortunately. But really fun tactics coming in, so no artillery dwarfs. It's more of a aggressive kind of mobile box build, which is a tactic I'm a big fan of overall. Certainly have the tools to deal with mass greenskins coming in with the crawlers, but also having 1 or 2 things in the back pocket to help deal with Black Orc rushes, big monsters and so forth is always a good solid way of playing, and the Quad Slayers is certainly very fun. Now for A move, going for the massive map, complete spread out build was very interesting. It did some huge damage overall. I think just in the end he didn't have any stopping power to really punish the dwarfs at those key moments, simply because his main line was built up of just a couple of Night Goblin fanatics and nasty skulkers. But at the same time, a very ambitious build which very nearly paid off against a very good player, and Grom showing why he's an absolute menace to the warriors of the Dowie forces. 261 kills, rolling deep indeed. But anyway guys, massive shout out to Amu for sending this replay in via my Discord. If you would like to do the same or get involved in tournaments, Kingdom Hills and so forth, there's a link to my Discord in the description just down below. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please do consider giving me a big old thumbs up. It super helps out the video, as well as subscribing, and you get to see all more Total War Warhammer content. Anyway guys, until next time, peace, and as always, stay awesome.